The pursuit of perfection defines the NFL's greatest teams. From undefeated campaigns to record-breaking offensive explosions, each franchise has experienced at least one magical season that stands above all others. Here are the 32 best seasons in NFL history, one for each team, featuring the championships, records, and legendary performances that define football excellence. Miami Dolphins, 1972, the perfect season, 17-0. The 1972 Miami Dolphins achieved what no other NFL team has accomplished, a perfect season from start to finish. Led by Hall of Fame coach Don Shula, the Dolphins went 14-0 in the regular season and swept through the playoffs to finish 17-0, the only perfect season in NFL history. The team dominated on both sides of the ball, leading the NFL in total offense, 385 points. Total defense, 171 points allowed. Scoring offense and scoring defense, a feat never duplicated. When starting quarterback Bob Grease broke his ankle in Week 5, 38-year-old Earl Morrall stepped in and went 9-0 as the starter. The no-name defense, anchored by Nick Buonaconti, allowed just 12.2 points per game. The defining moment came in Super Bowl VII, where despite Garo Yepremian's infamous botched field goal attempt that nearly resulted in a Washington touchdown, Miami held on for a 14-7 victory to complete perfection. The 1972 Dolphins remain the gold standard of NFL excellence, their perfect record standing alone after more than 50 years. New England Patriots, 2007, the greatest regular season, 18-1. The 2007 Patriots produced the most dominant regular season in NFL history, becoming the first team to go 16-0 in the regular season. Tom Brady threw an NFL record 50 touchdown passes, while Randy Moss caught a record 23 touchdown receptions. The team scored 589 points, 36.8 per game, an NFL record that stood until 2013 while maintaining a historic plus 315-point differential. Despite the Spygate controversy that began the season, New England steamrolled opponents with 8 wins by 20-plus points. The season's crescendo came in the regular season finale against the Giants, a 38-35 thriller where both teams played their starters in a preview of Super Bowl 42. Though the Patriots fell just short of perfection with a 17-14 Super Bowl loss to those same Giants, their regular season dominance remains unmatched in the modern era. Buffalo Bills, 1990, K-Gun Revolution, 15-4. The 1990 season launched the Bills' unprecedented run to 4 consecutive Super Bowls, posting a franchise best 13, 3 regular season record. Buffalo revolutionized offensive football with their K-Gun no-huddle attack, named after tight end Keith McKellar. Jim Kelly orchestrated the high-speed offense, while running back Thurman Thomas gained 1,297 rushing yards. The defensive side featured Bruce Smith's franchise record 19 sacks, earning him NFL Defensive Player of the Year honors. The Bills' dominance peaked in the AFC Championship game, destroying the Raiders 51-3 in one of the most lopsided playoff victories ever. Though Scott Norwood's wide right field goal attempt in Super Bowl 25 denied them the championship, this season established the template for the most successful era in Bills history. Before we break down the next legendary season, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe. Over 98% of you watch without subscribing, which is almost as rare as the Lions winning a championship. Let's fix that. New York Jets, 1968. The guarantee, 13-3. The 1968 Jets season culminated in one of the greatest upsets in sports history. Led by the charismatic Joe Namath, who had thrown for over 4,000 yards the previous season, the Jets went 11-3 to win the AFL East. The team led the AFL in scoring, 419 points, while featuring future Hall of Famers Namath and Don Maynard. The defining moment came 3 days before Super Bowl III, when Namath famously guaranteed victory over the heavily favored Baltimore Colts. "We're going to win the game. I guarantee it." The Jets backed up their quarterback's bold prediction, winning 16-7 in a victory that legitimized the AFL and changed professional football forever. This remains the Jets' only championship, making the 1968 season their undisputed greatest achievement. Baltimore Ravens, 2000, historic defense, 16-4. The 2000 Ravens fielded arguably the greatest single-season defense in NFL history. Allowing just 165 points in 16 games, 10.3 per game, they set records for fewest points and rushing yards allowed, 970, in a 16-game season. Ray Lewis won NFL Defensive Player of the Year and Super Bowl MVP, leading a unit that recorded 4 shutouts and forced 49 turnovers. The defense's dominance reached its peak in the playoffs, where they allowed just 1 offensive touchdown in 4 games. Despite a 5-game stretch where the offense failed to score a touchdown, the defense carried the team to victory after victory. The Ravens capped their dominant run with a 34-7 Super Bowl 35 victory over the Giants, establishing the franchise's first championship behind the Bullies of Baltimore. Cincinnati Bengals, 1981, MVP excellence, 12-4. The 1981 Bengals reached the pinnacle of franchise success behind MVP quarterback Ken Anderson. After being benched in Week 1, Anderson returned to post a league-leading 98.4 passer rating with 3,754 yards and 29 touchdowns. Rookie receiver Chris Collinsworth became the franchise's first 1,000-yard receiver, while future Hall of Fame tackle Anthony Munoz anchored the offensive line. The season's signature moment came in the AFC Championship game, known as the Freezer Bowl, played in minus 9 degrees Fahrenheit temperature with minus 59 degrees Fahrenheit wind chill. The Bengals defeated San Diego 27-7 to reach their first Super Bowl. Though they fell to San Francisco 26-21 in Super Bowl 16, this season represents the franchise's greatest achievement and most complete team. Cleveland Browns, 1964, championship glory. The 1964 Browns captured their most recent championship, defeating the heavily favored Baltimore Colts 27-0 in the NFL championship game. Jim Brown rushed for 1,446 yards during the regular season, then added 114 yards in the title game against the league's best rush defense. Gary Collins caught 3 touchdown passes from Frank Ryan in the championship game, setting an NFL title game record. Playing in 34-degree weather with strong winds at Cleveland Stadium, the Browns completely shut down Johnny Unitas and the 2 Colts. This dominant performance gave Cleveland its last major professional sports championship until the Cavaliers won in 2016, making the 1964 season the defining achievement in Browns history. Pittsburgh Steelers, 1978, Steel Curtain Peak, 17-2. The 1978 Steelers represented the apex of their dynasty, posting a franchise best 14-2 regular season record in the NFL's first 16-game season. Terry Bradshaw won NFL MVP with 28 touchdown passes, while the Steel Curtain defense allowed just 12.2 points per game. The team sent 10 players to the Pro Bowl and featured a perfect 7-0 start. Bradshaw's brilliance shone brightest in Super Bowl 13, where he threw for 318 yards and 4 touchdowns, both Super Bowl records at the time, in a 35-31 victory over Dallas. This marked the Steelers' 3rd Super Bowl title and established them as the team of the 1970s. The balance of offensive firepower and defensive dominance made this the most complete team in franchise history. Houston Texans, 2012, Watts dominance, 12-4. The 2012 season marked the peak of Texans football, with the franchise posting its best ever 12-4 record. J.J. Watt delivered one of the greatest defensive seasons in NFL history with 20.5 sacks, 16 passes defended, and 81 tackles, becoming the first Texan to win a major NFL award by capturing Defensive Player of the Year with 49 of 50 votes. The offense complemented Watt's dominance with Arian Foster rushing for 1,424 yards and Andre Johnson setting franchise records with 112 receptions and 1,598 yards. The Texans' historic season included their first playoff victory, a 19-13 win over Cincinnati, before falling to New England in the divisional round. This remains the closest the franchise has come to AFC Championship game contention. Indianapolis Colts, 2006, Manning's masterpiece, 12-4. The 2006 Colts delivered Indianapolis its only Super Bowl championship, despite fielding the worst statistical run defense since the merger, 173.8 yards per game. Peyton Manning threw for 4,397 yards and 31 touchdowns, leading a prolific passing attack featuring Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne, who combined for over 2,600 receiving yards. The defining sequence came in the AFC Championship game, where the Colts overcame a 21-3 deficit to defeat New England 38-34 in one of the greatest playoff comebacks ever. In rainy conditions at Super Bowl 41, Manning earned MVP honors by leading the Colts past Chicago 29-17, finally capturing the championship that had eluded him and bringing the Lombardi Trophy to Indianapolis. Jacksonville Jaguars, 1999, near perfection, 15-2. The 1999 Jaguars posted the best record in franchise history at 14-2, with their only losses coming against division rival Tennessee. The defense allowed just 13.6 points per game, NFL best, while forcing 57 sacks. Jimmy Smith set franchise records with 116 receptions and 1,636 yards, while the defense dominated behind Tony Bracken's 12 sacks. The playoff run began with a historic 62-7 demolition of Miami in Dan Marino's final game, with Fred Taylor's 90-yard touchdown run setting an NFL playoff record that still stands. The 55-point margin of victory was the second largest in playoff history. Despite going 15-0 against every other opponent, the Jaguars couldn't solve the Titans, falling 33-14 in the AFC Championship game. Tennessee Titans, 1999, Music City Miracle, 16-4. The Titans' greatest season featured the most memorable play in franchise history and came within 1 yard of a championship. After a 13-3 regular season, the wildcard Titans embarked on a magical playoff run that began with the Music City Miracle. Frank Wycheck's lateral to Kevin Dyson for a 75-yard kickoff return touchdown with 3 seconds left to beat Buffalo 22-16. Steve McNair and Eddie George powered the offense, while rookie Javon Curse led the NFL with 14.5 sacks and 8 forced fumbles. The season ended with heartbreak as Kevin Dyson was tackled at the 1-yard line by Mike Jones with 6 seconds left in Super Bowl 34, falling 23-16 to the Rams. 1 yard short remains both the franchise's greatest achievement and most agonizing moment. Denver Broncos, 1998 back-to-back glory, 17-2. The 1998 Broncos achieved the best regular season record in franchise history, 14-2, while capturing their second consecutive Super Bowl. Terrell Davis became just the 4th player to rush for 2,000 yards in a season, finishing with 2,008 yards and 21 touchdowns. The offense scored 501 points, while the defense allowed the 8th fewest points in the league. John Elway's final season culminated with a 34-19 Super Bowl 33 victory over Atlanta, with Davis earning MVP honors despite playing through debilitating migraines. The team's dominance included a 13-0 start before narrow losses to the Giants and Dolphins. This season represented the peak of the Broncos' late 90s dynasty and sent Elway into retirement as a champion. Kansas City Chiefs, 2019, ending the drought, 15-4. The 2019 Chiefs ended a 50-year Super Bowl championship drought with one of the most thrilling playoff runs in NFL history. Patrick Mahomes orchestrated 3 consecutive playoff comeback victories, including overcoming a 24-0 deficit against Houston in the divisional round, the largest comeback in franchise playoff history. Andy Reid finally captured his elusive championship in his 21st season as an NFL head coach. The defining moment came in Super Bowl 54, where the Chiefs trailed San Francisco 20-10, entering the fourth quarter before scoring 21 unanswered points to win 31-20. This championship established Mahomes as the face of the NFL and began a new dynasty in Kansas City. Las Vegas Raiders, 1976, Madden's masterpiece, 16-2. The 1976 Raiders posted the best winning percentage in franchise history with a 13-1 regular season record. Ken Stabler threw 27 touchdown passes, while Cliff Branch averaged 24.2 yards per catch with 12 touchdowns. The team won 12 consecutive games to close the season, including playoff victories over New England and defending champion Pittsburgh. John Madden's first Super Bowl as head coach resulted in a 32-14 victory over Minnesota in Super Bowl 11. The Raiders defeated the previous 2 Super Bowl champions, Pittsburgh and Minnesota, en route to their first championship. Playing at the Rose Bowl before a record crowd of over 103,000, the victory validated years of playoff frustration and established the Raiders' winning culture. Los Angeles Chargers, 2006, LT's record year, 14-2. The 2006 Chargers tied for the best regular season record in franchise history behind LaDainian Tomlinson's record-breaking MVP campaign. Tomlinson set NFL single-season records with 28 rushing touchdowns and 31 total touchdowns while gaining 1,815 rushing yards. His dominance included a game where the Chargers ran the same play 21 consecutive times and couldn't be stopped. Phillip Rivers' first season as starter complemented Tomlinson's historic year, but the season ended in heartbreak when Marlon McCree fumbled an interception with 6:25 left in a 24-21 divisional playoff loss to New England. Despite the disappointing finish, Tomlinson's MVP season and the team's 14-2 record remain the high watermark of Chargers football. Dallas Cowboys, 1992, dynasty begins 18-2. The 1992 Cowboys launched their 1990s dynasty with a 13-3 regular season and dominant playoff run. The league's number 1 defense and number 2 offense featured the youngest Super Bowl team ever at an average age of 25.5 years. Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, NFL rushing leader with 1,713 yards, and Michael Irvin formed the legendary Triplets. The playoff run included a 30-20 NFC Championship victory at Candlestick Park, ending San Francisco's dominance. In Super Bowl 27, Dallas demolished Buffalo 52-17, forcing a Super Bowl record 9 turnovers and outscoring the Bills 35-0 in the second half. Aikman threw 4 touchdown passes to earn MVP honors in what became the Cowboys' first championship in 15 years. New York Giants, 1986, Big Blue Wrecking Crew, 17-2. The 1986 Giants combined the Big Blue Wrecking Crew defense with efficient offense to post a 14-2 record. Lawrence Taylor became just the second defensive player to win NFL MVP with 20.5 sacks. The defense allowed just 14.8 points per game, while Phil Simms led an offense that featured 1,500-yard rusher Joe Morris. The playoff dominance saw the Giants outscore opponents 105-23, never trailing in the postseason. Simms' Super Bowl 21 performance remains legendary. 22 of 25 passing, 88% completion rate for 268 yards in a 39-20 victory over Denver. The Giants ended their 30-year championship drought and popularized the Gatorade shower tradition that continues today. Philadelphia Eagles, 1949, perfect storm, 12-1. The 1949 Eagles achieved the franchise's best winning percentage, 917, with an 11-1 regular season. Steve Van Buren set an NFL rushing record with 1,146 yards, while the team led the league in both scoring, 30.3 PPG, and defense, 11.2 PPG allowed. Future Hall of Famer Chuck Bednarik began his career as the number 1 overall draft pick. The NFL championship game, played in driving rain at the LA Coliseum, became known as the Mud Bowl. The Eagles defeated the Rams 14-0 for their second consecutive championship game shutout, becoming the first team to win back-to-back titles via shutout. This season represents the pinnacle of Eagles football until their 2017 Super Bowl victory. Washington Commanders, 1991, historic excellence, 18-2. The 1991 Washington team is considered one of the greatest in NFL history, posting a 14-2 regular season while leading the league in scoring, 485 points, and ranking second in defense. Mark Rypien threw for 3,564 yards with just 7 sacks all season, while the offense featured 2 1,000-yard receivers in Gary Clark and Art Monk. After an 11-0 start, Washington dominated the playoffs, outscoring opponents 100 and 241 and never trailing in any game. The 37-24 Super Bowl 26 victory made Joe Gibbs the first coach to win 3 Super Bowls with 3 different starting quarterbacks. ESPN ranked this team as the 4th greatest ever, a testament to their balanced excellence. Chicago Bears, 1985, Monsters of the Midway, 18-1. The 1985 Bears redefined defensive dominance with a 15-1 regular season and the franchise's only Super Bowl victory. The defense allowed just 12.4 points per game and scored 34 takeaways. Walter Payton rushed for 1,551 yards, while the defense, led by Defensive Player of the Year Richard Dent and coordinator Buddy Ryan's innovative 46 defense, terrorized opponents. The cultural impact extended beyond football, with the Super Bowl shuffle becoming a phenomenon. After their only loss to Miami preserved the 1972 Dolphins' perfect season, the Bears shut out 2 playoff opponents and demolished New England 46-10 in Super Bowl 20. The team allowed just 10 total points in 3 playoff games, cementing their status as one of the greatest defenses ever. Detroit Lions, 1957, last championship, 10-5. The 1957 Lions captured their most recent championship with one of the most dominant title game performances in NFL history. After starting quarterback Bobby Lane broke his ankle in Week 11, backup Tobin Rote led the team to the playoffs. The Lions overcame a 27-7 deficit to beat San Francisco 31-27 in the conference playoff, the greatest comeback in playoff history at the time. The championship game saw Detroit demolish the heavily favored Cleveland Browns 59-14, with Rote throwing 4 touchdown passes and running for another. The Lions forced 7 turnovers and held Jim Brown to just 69 yards. This remains Detroit's last championship, with the subsequent 67-plus year drought partially attributed to the curse of Bobby Lane. Green Bay Packers, 1962, Lombardi's finest, 14-1. The 1962 Packers posted the best point differential, plus 267, of any 1960s team with a 13-1 regular season. The defense, featuring 5 future Hall of Famers, allowed just 10.6 points per game and forced 50 turnovers. Jim Taylor won the NFL rushing title with 1,474 yards, while Bart Starr led the league in passing efficiency. Vince Lombardi's team went undefeated at home for the first time since 1944. The championship game saw Green Bay shut down Y.A. Tittle and the Giants 16-7 in brutal conditions. ESPN ranked the 1962 defense as the 5th greatest in NFL history, while the team was ranked number 9 overall among the NFL's greatest teams. Minnesota Vikings, 1998, offensive explosion, 15-2. The 1998 Vikings shattered offensive records with 556 points scored, 34.8 per game, an NFL record that stood for nearly a decade. Randy Moss's rookie season featured 17 touchdown catches, while Randall Cunningham threw 34 touchdowns to win NFL MVP. Kicker Gary Anderson didn't miss a single kick all season. 35 for 35 on field goals, 59 for 59 on extra points. The season's tragic end came when Anderson missed his first and only kick, a 38-yard field goal with 2:07 left in the NFC Championship that would have made it 30-20. Atlanta won in overtime, 30-27, denying the Vikings a Super Bowl berth. Despite the heartbreak, this remains statistically the greatest Vikings team ever, never scoring fewer than 24 points in any game. Atlanta Falcons, 1998, Dirty Bird Dance, 16-3. The 1998 Falcons achieved the franchise's best regular season record, 14-2, and made their first Super Bowl appearance. Jamal Anderson set a franchise record with 1,846 rushing yards on 410 carries, an NFL record at the time, popularizing the Dirty Bird touchdown dance that became a national phenomenon. The team's plus 153-point differential and plus 20 turnover margin both led the conference. The playoff run featured a thrilling 30-27 overtime victory over the 15-1 Minnesota Vikings in the NFC Championship after Gary Anderson missed a crucial field goal. Though the Falcons fell to Denver 34-19 in Super Bowl 33, this season established the franchise's peak with their first division title since 1980 and only Super Bowl appearance until 2016. Carolina Panthers, 2015, Cam's MVP campaign, 17-2. The 2015 Panthers posted a franchise best one regular season behind Cam Newton's MVP performance. Newton totaled 45 touchdowns, 35 passing, 10 rushing, while leading the NFL's top-scoring offense. 500 points. The team started 14-0, the best start by an NFC team since the AFL-NFL merger, with Newton's dabbing celebration becoming a cultural phenomenon. The dominance continued in the playoffs with a 49-15 NFC Championship victory over Arizona, setting a conference title game scoring record. 10 Panthers made the Pro Bowl as the team earned the number 1 seed for the first time. Though they fell to Denver 24-10 in Super Bowl 50, this season established the Panthers as an NFL powerhouse and created lasting memories for the franchise. New Orleans Saints, 2009, Who Dat Nation, 16-3. The 2009 Saints delivered the franchise's first and only Super Bowl championship, providing emotional triumph for post-Katrina New Orleans. Drew Brees set an NFL record with a 70.6% completion percentage while throwing for 4,388 yards and 34 touchdowns. The team started 13-0, matching their franchise record, and scored 510 points to lead the NFL. The Super Bowl victory featured the famous ambush onside kick to start the second half and Tracy Porter's 74-yard pick six of Peyton Manning to seal the 31-17 victory. The Saints became the first team to defeat 3 former Super Bowl winning quarterbacks in the playoffs: Kurt Warner, Brett Favre, Manning. The championship ended a 43-year drought and transcended sports for a city still recovering from disaster. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 2002, defensive masterpiece, 15-4. The 2002 Buccaneers rode one of the greatest defenses in NFL history to their first Super Bowl championship. The defense allowed just 12.3 points per game, NFL best, and featured 4 future Hall of Famers: Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, John Lynch, and Rhonda Barber. Brooks won Defensive Player of the Year with 5 interceptions, 3 returned for touchdowns. John Gruden's first season culminated with Rondé Barber's 92-yard pick six to clinch the NFC Championship in the final game at Veterans Stadium. In Super Bowl 37, Tampa Bay intercepted Oakland 5 times, returning 3 for touchdowns in a 48-21 victory. The defense's 9 touchdowns for the season, including playoffs, showcased their historic dominance. Arizona Cardinals, 2008, shocking the world, 12-7. The 2008 Cardinals ended a 61-year championship game drought with their first and only Super Bowl appearance. Kurt Warner threw for 4,583 yards and 30 touchdowns, while Larry Fitzgerald, Anquan Bolden, and Steve Breston became just the 5th trio in NFL history to each surpass 1,000 receiving yards. The team overcame a 9-7 regular season to make an improbable playoff run. Fitzgerald's playoff dominance included 23 catches for 419 yards and 5 touchdowns. His 64-yard touchdown reception gave Arizona a 23-20 lead with 2:37 left in Super Bowl 43 before Pittsburgh's late comeback. The Cardinals won more playoff games, 3 in 2008, than in their previous 61 years combined, truly shocking the world with their Cinderella run. Los Angeles Rams, 1999, greatest show on turf, 16-4. The 1999 Rams completed the greatest single-season turnaround in NFL history, going from 4-12 to Super Bowl champions. The greatest show on turf scored an NFL record 526 points behind MVP performances from Kurt Warner, 4,353 yards, 41 TDs, and Marshall Faulk, 2,429 total yards. The team's plus 284-point differential set an NFL record. After Trent Green's preseason injury, unknown Kurt Warner became the first undrafted player to win NFL MVP. The Super Bowl 34 victory came on Warner's 73-yard touchdown drive, capped by a TD pass to Isaac Bruce with 1:54 remaining for a 23-16 win over Tennessee. The Rams became the first team to score 500-plus points in 3 consecutive seasons, revolutionizing offensive football. San Francisco 49ers, 1984, near perfection, 18-1. The 1984 49ers became the first team to win 15 regular season games, finishing 15-1 with their only loss to Pittsburgh in Week 7. Joe Montana threw for 3,630 yards and 28 touchdowns, while the defense ranked second in points allowed. This season also marked Jerry Rice's rookie year after being selected 16th overall. Super Bowl 19 saw Montana set a then record with 331 passing yards and 3 touchdowns in a 38-16 victory over Dan Marino's Dolphins. The team outscored playoff opponents 82-26 while showcasing Bill Walsh's West Coast offense at its peak. This near-perfect season was part of a dynasty that won 4 Super Bowls in the 1980s. Seattle Seahawks, 2013, Legion of Boom, 16-3. The 2013 Seahawks captured their first Super Bowl championship behind the legendary Legion of Boom defense. The unit led the NFL in points allowed, 231, yards allowed, 4,378, and takeaways, 39. The first team since the 1985 Bears to accomplish this triple crown. The secondary featured All-Pros Richard Sherman, NFL leading 8 INTs, Earl Thomas, and Cam Chancellor. The defining moments included Sherman's deflection to Malcolm Smith in the NFC Championship, the tip, and the 43-8 Super Bowl demolition of Denver's record-setting offense. The Seahawks scored as many points, 8, on defense as they allowed to Peyton Manning's offense. The team set Guinness World Records for crowd noise, 137.6 decibels, as the 12th man created the NFL's most intimidating home field advantage. These 32 seasons represent the pinnacle of achievement for each franchise, from the Dolphins' perfect 1972 campaign to the Chiefs ending their 50-year drought in 2019. Some teams like the Steelers, Cowboys, and 49ers can choose from multiple championships, while others like the Lions, Browns, and Jets look back decades to find their defining moment. And that's every NFL team's best season. Some legendary, some less so. If you made it this far without liking or subscribing, you might be tougher than the 2000 Ravens defense. So do us a solid, subscribe, like, and we'll keep the history coming one season at a time.